Friends from the media, good afternoon. Welcome to today's press conference. Now the floor is open. CCTV. Yesterday, King Vajiralongkorn of Thailand has just concluded a state visit to China. Could you share more information on the visit, achievements and the highlights? At the invitation of President Xi Jinping, His Majesty King Vajiralongkorn of Thailand paid a state visit to China from November 13th to 17th. This year marks the 50th anniversary of China-Taiwan diplomatic ties and the Golden Jubilee of bilateral friendship. This is the first time for the King of Thailand to visit China since the establishment of diplomatic ties, and China is the first major country which His Majesty King officially visits after taking the throne. President Xi and His Majesty met on November 14th and reached important common understandings on developing friendly ties. It ushered in great progress in building China-Taiwan community with a shared future in the next 50 years and jointly wrote a brand new chapter of our friendship. The two heads of state believe that over the past half-century, facing the changing international landscape, the two countries have always worked hand in hand, helped each other, and have truly been good relatives, friends, and partners. The two peoples have extensive exchanges and broad-based, in-depth, and mutually beneficial cooperation. The cooperation between the two countries is just like cooperation between brothers. They agree that a crucial stage of respective national development and revitalization, the two countries should enhance strategic synergy to deliver more tangibly the cooperation for the two peoples. It's important to strengthen cultural connectivity, promote exchanges, and bring the two peoples closer. Premier Li Qiang also met with His Majesty King. During the visit, His Majesty King Vajiralongkorn and Queen Sutida laid a wreath at the monument to the people's heroes and visited Beijing, seeing firsthand the achievements of China's modernization and promoting cultural exchanges between the two countries. We believe that under the guidance of the two leaders, our friendship will grow even stronger over time, and the bilateral relations will make greater progress in the next 50 years. Next one, please.
Good afternoon. Question from
On the meetings between the two foreign ministers, a readout has been released, which you may refer to. Let me stress that ETIM is a terrorist organization designated by China in accordance with law and listed by UN Security Council. Combating ETIM is the core counter-terrorism concern of China. Syria is committed to not allowing any entity to use the Syrian territory to engage in activities that harm China's security, sovereignty, and interests. The two sides agreed to strengthen coordination and cooperation on counter-terrorism and security and combat terrorism in any form. Next one, please.
China News Service recently, in a written answer given by HRBP of the EU Carlos, she said that on the occasion of the 80th anniversary of the end of World War II in Asia, the EU paid tribute to the courage of the people of China who endured immense suffering in defending its homeland and contributing to the end of the war, was China's comment. China noted the statement made by HRBP Carlos. 80 years ago, as the principal theater of World War II, China has made enormous sacrifice for and great indelible contributions to the victory of the world anti-fascist war. It's a historical fact widely recognized by the international community. Adopting a correct attitude towards history is the foundation of defending the post-World War II international order. China and the EU need to promote a correct historical perspective on the war, resolutely safeguard the fruits of the victory in the war and the international order with the UN at its core, and jointly make greater contributions to world peace and development. Next one, please.
NHK.
NHK. We've learned that The DG of the Japanese Foreign Ministry's Asian and Oceania Affairs Bureau, Masaiki, today met with DG overseeing Asian affairs of China's MOFA. Can you give us any details of the talks? This morning, Director General Liu Jinsong of the Department of Asian Affairs of China's MOFA held consultation with DG of Japanese Foreign Ministry's Asian and Oceania Affairs Bureau, Masaiki, in Beijing. During the consultation, the Chinese side once again lodged serious protest with Japan over the wrongful remarks made by PM Takaichi concerning China. The Chinese side made it clear that the Prime Minister's remarks seriously violate international law and basic norms in international relations, erode the post-World War II international order, and go against the One China principle and the spirit of the four political documents between China and Japan. Those remarks have caused fundamental damage to the political foundation of the bilateral relationship. The egregiousness of both in nature and impact have triggered strong outrage and condemnation from the Chinese people. China seriously urges Japan to retract Takaichi's wrongful remarks, stop making provocations on issues concerning China, take steps to admit and correct the wrongdoing, and uphold the political foundation of China-Japan relations. Next one, please.
执新闻记者提问。据报道，11月16号上。
Shenzhen TV is reported that in the morning of November 16th, 4 China Coast Guard vessels entered the surrounding waters of Diaoyudao. The Japan's Chief Cabinet Secretary Mumino said on the press conference on November 17 that Japan has lodged a stern protest over this, was China's comment. Diaoyudao and its affiliated islands are China's inherent territory. The patrols and law enforcement of China Coast Guard vessels is legitimate, lawful, and fully justified. China doesn't accept the groundless protest raised by Japan and has rejected and lodged counter-protests immediately. China calls on Japan to abide by the four-point principled consensus between the two countries, respect China's territorial sovereignty, refrain from disrupting the patrols and law enforcement of China Coast Guard vessels, and stop taking any actions that may lead to escalation of situation.
Question from AFP.
The Chinese government will and will continue to protect the safety and security of foreigners in China in accordance with law.
From PTI.
This is Bangladesh's internal affairs. China is committed to a foreign policy of good neighborliness and friendship towards all people in Bangladesh. We sincerely hope that Bangladesh will achieve solidarity, stability, and development. Next one, please. Global Times is reported that the U.S. ambassador to Japan said in a post in X that he thanked Chinese diplomat in Japan for strengthening U.S.-Japan relations, was China's comment. His statement is nothing but a political stunt with ulterior motives. This goes against the identity and responsibility of a diplomat. The U.S.-Japan alliance is a result of the Cold War. It should not target any third party, still less arbitrarily interfere in other countries' internal affairs and harm their core interests.
Kleinberg, the Vice Chancellor of Germany, held talks with He Lifeng, Vice Premier of China, and they also talked about issues related to Taiwan following the talks. And he said that he is concerned over the possible military interventions in the Taiwan Strait. What's your comment on that? And besides, could you please tell us in the talks between the Vice Premier and the Vice Chancellor, what's China's comment?
On the Taiwan question, let me tell you that the Taiwan question is China's internal affairs. How to solve this question is a matter for the Chinese people, which brooks no external interference. To uphold cross-strait peace and stability, the key is to uphold the One China principle, unequivocally oppose Taiwan independence separatism. Next one, please.
Thank you, spokesperson.
Japan should abide by the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations and the Vienna Conventions on Consular Relations to provide facilitation for China's diplomatic corps in performing their duty in Japan.
CCTV also on Japan. Over the past few days, we've seen intense criticism from China on Prime Minister Takaichi's remarks on Taiwan. Some commented that the relationships is sliding to the lowest point. What's your view? The current situation facing China-Japan relations has its root cause in Prime Minister Takaichi's blatant remarks on Taiwan, which grossly interfered in China's internal affairs, seriously violated the One China principle and the spirit of the four political documents between China and Japan, and eroded the political foundation of China-Japan relations. China will continue to defend its core interests in international justice. There is not even the slightest change to this position. Japan must retract the wrongful remarks at once, reflect on and change its behavior, and give a clear answer to the Chinese people.
We noted relevant reports. We also noted that local companies in Australia said that they are communicating with suppliers on relevant issue. Next one, please.
中国日报据报道，近期多名日本官
China Daily. Several Japanese officials reportedly said recently that Japan is planning to revise its self-defense force ranking system, including reinstating old Japanese military ranks such as Taiso. Media comments say that this will break the self-defense convention of downplaying its military nature over the years, and this is adding insult to injury for those who have suffered from Japanese colonial rule. What's your comment? Due to its history of colonial rule and aggression, Japan's military and security moves have been closely watched by its Asian neighbors and the world. The Potsdam Proclamation explicitly stipulated that Japan should not be permitted to rearm for all, and the Japanese constitution, which enshrines pacifism, also established Japan's exclusively defense-oriented policy. It's alarming, however, that in recent years, Japan has drastically readjusted security and defense policy, increased defense budget, relaxed restrictions on arms export, sought to develop offensive weapons, and planned to abandon its three non-nuclear principles. Its far-right forces are trying every means to break free from the peace constitution, going further down the military build-up. 80 years ago, Japanese military waged wars of aggression which inflicted profound sufferings to Asia and the world. Those who forget wars will be in danger, and a warlike state will eventually perish. We will never allow resurrection of military in Japan, and we will never allow any challenge to the post-Second World War international order, and we will never allow any harm to world peace and stability. Next one, please.
BDI.
The Chinese representative has made clear China's position in the explanatory remark of the vote. Let me stress that China supports Security Council in doing what is necessary to promote a ceasefire, de-escalate the humanitarian disaster, and restart the reconstruction. There is ambiguity in the key issue of post-war arrangement of Gaza in the U.S. resolution, and important principles of the Palestinians governing Palestine and a two-state solution have not been fully demonstrated. This is different from China's consistent position. That's why China didn't vote for it. China will continue to take constructive measures and be responsible and support Palestinian people's just cause in resuming legitimate rights and work relentlessly for the full, just, lasting solution of the Palestinian question. Next one, please. Are there any more questions? If not, then let's call it a day.